तो जब मेरा पहला blog बना था, it was my husband and I. He created the blog for me. I think it was like a bunch of, so you got paid monthly, right? Meta would pay you monthly for like posting reels. And I think I had posted like three reels that month, or maybe like, I don't remember exact numbers. But that month I had made like $2,500. Burn yourself out. Keeping up with trends, trying to be somebody that you're not, is not going to make you the most authentic, transparent brand.
Hello and Assalamu alaikum everyone, this is me Uzair and you are watching the all new episode of Sapiens Experience. In today's episode, we are going to feature one of the top content creator and influencer from United States. And of course, जब हम top content creator की बात करते हैं तो इनका content follow किया जाता है and उसको पसंद भी किया जाता है by South Asian men, women, children and of course the audience sitting and residing in US, UK and Canada. Hello Maryam, Assalamu alaikum. How are you doing so far?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good and good to see you after very long.
I know, it's been like what? It's been a few years.
Yeah, before COVID, we actually,
shot for a Pakistani brand and then here we are.
And good to see you and your progress as well. Meanwhile, Maryam, थोड़ा सा बताओ how it's all going, how it all started and how it's going. जो अक्सर एक मीम आती है ना,
यार अगर लोग मेरे पेज को देखेंगे ना, they're gonna see so many different seasons of my life. I think when you and I met, it was such a different phase of my life. I had just become a mother. I was, just starting this new journey of like this motherhood content, but sharing like lifestyle parts of my life as well. Ever since then, I have transitioned completely into a culinary space, which has been phenomenal. खाना पकाना तो वैसे ही बिल्कुल अच्छा लगता था, लेकिन अब it's become part of my job, which I love. So now I've kind of done like my marketing consulting, but I'm also like becoming a chef, which is kind of neat. You would never think that what I did before is what's happening now. But yeah, it's all going great.
अच्छा Maryam, थोड़ा सा I would really like to know about this as well कि when you started all of this, you actually came up with an idea कि पहले मुझे एक following develop करनी है, I need to create a niche and then I need to launch a product जो उस niche को cater कर रहा हो, या it came all the way कि चीज़ें चलती रहेंगी, हम आगे बढ़ते रहेंगे और add on होती रहेंगी चीज़ें.
To be honest with you, it started off as a hobby.
Okay.
तो जब मेरा पहला blog बना था, it was my husband and I. He created the blog for me. We were long distance. We were engaged, but he lived in a different state and I lived in a different state. So for us to share something together, he created a blog for me. तो उस पे हम food की recipes डालते थे. And we got married. And when we got married, our pictures from our wedding went viral. And from that,
You actually realized कि मेरे अंदर potential है viral होने का.
Potential की बात नहीं थी. Like it was a complete shock, and the growth came from that. I was also moving from South. So I moved from Atlanta, Georgia to New York. Like everybody got very excited about, what's your life like from moving from the South to New York? So now you have like this girl who just got married. She's living in New York City. So I guess it was like I was in the right place at the right time. और तुक्के से हर चीज़ just like everything just fell into place, and that's how it all started.
अच्छा मरियम, अक्सर तुम्हारे पास इनबॉक्सेस भी आते होंगे जिसमें DMs में स्पेशली द वुमेन हु फॉलो यू, उनके लिए बड़ा डिफ़िकल्ट होता है ये देखना कि हाउ आर यू मेंटेनिंग योर प्रोफेशनल एंड पर्सनल लाइफ एज वेल, क्योंकि यू आर डूइंग इट इन अ वे एंड ऑफ कोर्स throughout your vlogging and throughout your videos people came to know कि what are you up to and क्या चल रहा है, तो ये कैसे इसका बैलेंस किस तरह डिसाइड किया एंड कैसे प्लान आउट किया being in US, क्योंकि we are from the South Asian countries, तो हमें पता होता है कि वहाँ पे हाउस हेल्प भी होती है and बहुत सारी चीज़ें होती हैं जिससे comparatively चीज़ें are much easier living in South Asian countries.
I think I've done a really great job at being transparent about everything that happens in my life. Whether it's me working 9 to 5, whether it's me taking on a project, if I'm shooting a campaign, I've been transparent about every single process. तो मैं हमेशा कभी अच्छी चीज़ें दिखाती हूँ, कभी बहुत अफसोस वाली चीज़ें दिखाती हूँ, because these are all part of life, right? When people see content creators, they don't realize that you're a one-man army, right? Not everybody has like the whole village of like a marketing manager, an agent, an agency who's doing all of these things for you. It's just one person who's doing so many different things at the same time. And I've done a phenomenal job of showcasing that to my audience. And I think that is what makes me so much relatable in terms of being in the social media space.
Achha, do you think social media is a place of opportunities as well? And of course, you might have realized it over time कि जैसे जैसे time आगे बढ़ता जा रहा है and जो opportunities हैं वो मज़ीद create हो रही हैं, या you think कि market saturate हो गया है and there are not much opportunities left anymore?
I will say that there was a time in social media space where you had to wait for the opportunities to come to you, right? It wasn't a very saturated market, but now everybody and anybody can be a creator, right? You just have to start. By doing so, I think people can now create those opportunities for themselves. There's a lot of food bloggers who have now turned into like restaurant owners, who now have coffee shops. There's a lot of people who were like teachers, but now they're content creators. Like there's just so many opportunities that you can create for yourself, but that we did not have about 10 years ago. So yeah, I think the market is like changed, but the opportunities are still there.
अच्छा, opportunities की बात करें, so what have you realized कि over time and specifically अगर हम बात करें for last 10 years, कौन सी ऐसी चीज़ें हैं या कौन से ऐसे products हैं जिसमें you think कि there was a sudden rise या people have realized the importance of being healthy या eating healthy or somewhat like staying fit और health conscious हो गए लोग? किस तरह देखती हो इस चीज़ को?
I look at all those trends as temporary trends. I feel like one kind of lifestyle is not a realistic thing to stay in, right? 10 years ago, it was all about who was doing the most high-end things, right? Like buying the Pradas and the Fendis and all of that was a big thing, right? Dior, if you didn't have a Dior bag, like you were just not a good enough creator to be in the creator industry. Now it's about like holistic wellness. Everybody's doing yoga, everybody's drinking broth, everybody's eating healthy, everybody's working out, right? Like that's where we are. But I like to think that every 10 years, there's a massive shift in the trend. So for me, it's like adapt to a lifestyle that fits your needs. And it becomes more of a timeless thing. So when the trends come in and go, you're still you and you haven't changed one bit. Right?
Absolutely.
So that's where I like to look at these trends and like, you don't have to change yourself because there's a trend going on.
Acha, Maryam, you have recently talked about broth abhi, and you have started your own business as well. Tell us about this, how it all started in इतने busy schedule में ये जो है एक full time job है. मेरे ख्याल से शायद restaurant चलाने से भी ज़्यादा मुश्किल है to create a product, and you are doing it because I've seen many of your stories as well in which you are filling it as well, और fulfilling those orders are difficult, और क्योंकि इतना बड़ा market है US का, तो उसको fulfill करना भी बहुत मुश्किल है. तो कैसे चल रहा है and इसका आगे क्या हम देख सकते हैं advancements?
You know, the funny thing is that this started as in the pandemic. कोविड में जो थी अम्मियाँ आ तो नहीं सकती थी या ना दादियाँ आ सकती थी, तो I always craved for like yakni.
ठीक है.
और ऊपर से I was pregnant in COVID also, so for me like not having access to like that homemade yakni was like a big thing. मेरी pregnancy थोड़ी difficult भी थी, and I think a lot of women go through that process as well कि वो खाना नहीं खा सकती, या तो weight lose हो रहा, gain नहीं हो रहा, या तो blood transfusion हो रही, ये चीज़ें हमेशा होती रहती हैं. So for me, medicine wasn't working as much as I wanted it to work. The Western medicine wasn't working. So I was like, you know, I'm going to start making yakhnis myself. So I was making larger batches, and I was just like posting these videos on Instagram, and these videos were going viral. So I told myself that if there was ever a product that I would put out in the market, it would be this. And especially after I had my surgeries and I was going through postpartum care, I had a nurse who bought me like Maggie का पैकेट होता है, उसको पानी में डाल के वो पिला रही थी. And I was like, this is not what I need. I was like, this is not what a yakni or broth is, right? You can't have nutrition in a packet. So that's where all of this started, and now I run the business from start to finish. My husband takes care of the inventory part, where he has a 9-to-5 also. He works in finance, but for him to like take that time out to do the inventory for me helps a lot. But I do all the sourcing. I pick out all the ingredients. I create the broth all myself. We fill the jars, we package, we ship it out.
Wow.
One batch for us will take us at least 2 to 3 days.
2 to 3 days. So do you think of expanding this business जिसमें आप all लोग involve करो जो कि similar यखनी या जो broth है ये बना सकें?
Yeah. So right now we're in the process of getting a manufacturer to help us scale, so we can get more access to a halal broth, which does not necessarily exist in the US market right now. So.
Oh wow, that's incredible. अच्छा Maryam, हम starting में जब conversation कर रहे थे, so you have mentioned that an influencer life also includes happy moments, sad moments, but we have often seen that whenever someone posts sad and depressing post, so it's not liked by many of the individuals as well, though एक certain audience है जिनको ये चीज़ अच्छी लगती हैं, लेकिन sometimes people see influencers as their आप कह सकते हैं कि गेट अवे थिंग, दे वॉच देयर स्टोरीज यू नो टू गेट रिजुविनेटेड और फ्रेश फील करने के लिए, बट व्हेन दे सी depressing post as well. So have you incurred any kind of bashing on DMs कि ये क्यों post कर रही हो, या this is not what we are here for?
You know, surprisingly, no.
Wow.
I've always seen support for me being transparent about the saddest parts of my life. And I think I talk about things that not a lot of people want to talk about, right? I talk about those stereotypical things that people
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
that's what I'm talking about.
So there's going to be like a handful of people who are like, ये क्यों लगाया इंटरनेट के ऊपर, कोई ज़रूरत तो नहीं थी. And I'm like, but this isn't for you, right? If you cannot relate to that piece of information, then this was not meant for you. But then I will get like 5 different DMs who are just like, you know,
जो relate कर सकते हैं उस situation से.
Yeah, they're like, I am currently going through this, and I appreciate you giving me a voice that I didn't think that I had. And those are the things that make you want to be transparent, be authentic, because I'm not worried about the 10 people who don't care about what I post. I am worried about the other 200,000 people that might need this kind of information, right? Something to relate to. And I think that's where my focus always has been, to give that relatable content to people who can feel like I'm giving them voice.
अच्छा मरियम, what I have observed so far, what मैंने अकेले ने क्या किया, पूरी दुनिया ने एक्सपीरियंस किया है कि जो engagement का जो रेट है, रेशो है, वो काफ़ी कम होता जा रहा है लोगों का. Sometimes people tend to create so much content, लेकिन उनको वो engagement नहीं मिल रही होती. Attention span लोगों का कम हो गया है. एक content बार बार आप post भी नहीं कर सकते. So tell us about your strategies to engage your audience.
I think because now there's a world of TikTok, a lot of stuff has changed, right? These TikTok videos are so short that you're like constantly eating and consuming so much content that you don't need. So now that has changed the way people shoot their content. And there's ways.
I've seen 15 seconds में पूरी storytelling in 15 seconds. It's so difficult.
You're like a content creating machine.
Yeah.
But I think everybody has their own strategies of how they keep their audience engaged, right? For me, it's a balance of the storytelling aspect of something. So I now post a lot more videos because I'm able to tell what's happening in a video versus posting a picture and then writing a caption, right? Because we're also in the world of like creating videos now versus posting static images, which has changed the way people shoot their content. So for me, I'm able to show more of me and my content by doing videos than posting images. So if you see me now, I post a lot more video content. And it kind of allows me to like interact with my audience as well. I do a lot more like behind the scenes on my stories. We'll do a lot of polls, ask questions, how are you doing? So those things kind of like keep the engagement.
Maryam, according to you, which social media platform best suits you? अगर इसको हम इस तरह कहें.
You know, I've always been an Instagram person. It has been my primary account from like 2016, so that's where I've been, and I think that's where my audience is, so I always naturally go back to that.
And TikTok पे जब content create करना शुरू किया है, of course, right? तो उससे क्या engagement, क्योंकि we have seen कि जब cross postings होती हैं तो उससे काफ़ी आपके followers increase भी होते हैं. So have you figured out कि वहाँ से कुछ आपको फ़ायदा हुआ Instagram के ऊपर?
You know, the thing is,
creating account on TikTok especially.
Yeah, so I have account on TikTok. I've had it for a couple of years, but this year is where I've been like, okay, maybe I should give this a try. But what I've realized is that my type of content changes from platform to platform. So on TikTok, the audience wants more like lifestyle fashion. So a lot of my like Pakistani brands, like इसका कौन से कपड़े पहने हैं, कौन सा designer ने क्या भेजा है, that is doing phenomenal on TikTok. But when you have like more motherhood content, like today this happened, this is what I made for my child to eat in like
But
lunch.
everyone cannot do that as well. ये भी बहुत मुश्किल चीज़ है. मतलब
it's
even if you are a lifestyle content creator, you can sometimes आप इतने convincing way में बता नहीं सकते अपनी story को.
Yeah, but I think so for me it kind of works out because now I get to like do more BTS lifestyle fashion videos on TikTok. And I get to do more culinary motherhood stuff that I always loved on my Instagram. And then every once in a while, I'll cross-promote the videos when I'm like running low on content. Because I'm like, oh my God, I haven't shot anything this week. So maybe I'll like post a video from here to here. Or I'll take one from Instagram and post it on Reels. And they seem to be doing just fine right now. I don't know how long I can keep up with it. But
No, of course you are doing wonderful. लेकिन the reason that I wanted you to be on the show as well because we have a lot of overseas Pakistani audience and same as we have some South Asian audience as well.
Yeah.
तो वो लोग अक्सर relate करते हैं कि because overseas Pakistanis dress as well, they look good, that's why they get good viewership, yeah, good following. How do you see this?
I will say that, so my demographic is definitely US, but there's my big portion of my demographic is Pakistan, right? Because I share a lot of like Pakistani recipes. Sometimes I'll share a lot of like outfits that I wear on Eid or in general. And I think that just keeps the engagement and audience there because they can relate that there is a person who is like Pakistani, but she's living this life in the US doing everything else that we're doing here in the US. It creates more of a balance.
Acha, talking a little about your chef life, how it's going and you have always picked difficult jobs. तो पहले तो ये बताओ कि क्या है घर में दिल नहीं लग रहा होता ज़्यादा कि सबसे मुश्किल सर्च करती हो चीज़ कि गूगल पे which is the most difficult thing to be in or a situation. किस तरह आइडेंटिफाई करती हो कि मुझे इस जॉनरा में आना है?
So you know the need for wanting to be a chef was like a very far-fetched dream since I was like a little girl. ये जो पैशन स्टार्ट हुआ था वो एक स्कूल का कंपटीशन था पाकिस्तान के अंदर. I went to school in Pakistan for a couple of years and there was a cooking competition. उसमें मटर चावल बनाने थे. 9 साल की थी मटर चावल बना रही थी. And that's where like I won second place with my team and I was like, this is what I want to do. But obviously, realistically speaking, like at that time when we're growing up, chef was not a thing your parents wanted you to be.
Yeah.
If you were not a doctor or a lawyer, like you were
certain
just not
predefined professions.
Yeah. So now like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, the social media craze started. People were able to create new opportunities, new jobs, and now anyone can be like whatever you want to be. So I worked for a baby food company for a couple of years. I was their head of creative, and by doing that, I ignited like the love for food again. And then I was like, this is fun. This is what I like doing. But then I was just like being a head of creative, but then also having my social media presence. I was constantly just thinking about the next creative thing. And I was like, yaar, मेरे दिमाग में और ये creativeness नहीं आ रही. So I just completely shifted my career and I went into a tech startup. And I was their head of e-commerce. So I helped build out their e-commerce side of the business. And then I was just like, now what? But the love for food was always there. And then I had my kids and I was like, maybe I just pick a few things. So I quit my job and I became a full-time content creator. So for the last 4 years, I've been like creating content. I've been consulting for marketing strategy because that's been such a big part of my life.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I still do that. But here and there, I've been taking like courses, culinary courses, and now I'm actually doing certifications. And it's allowed this whole new world of culinary space that I'm so excited about. Yeah. And then also having a business, a broth business, a company that is being led by a woman who, not as only a mom, I'm a content creator, I'm a marketing powerhouse, and now I get to like become a private chef.
अच्छा Maryam, tell us about these things correlate as well क्योंकि e-commerce है, digital media है, so somehow e-commerce business को social media से कोई help मिली या social media को e-commerce के business से help मिली, how it all worked for you?
So I think having a social media space definitely helped with the marketing strategy, right? Now that I have a business, I already have an audience.
ठीक है.
So I can do like my market research based on my audience, and then everything that I've learned over the years by working in a baby food company and then tech startup, like it kind of gave me all these skills that I can now apply to my own life and my own business. So in a way, everything came back full circle. And I think that's like the best part about where I am.
That's amazing. अच्छा इसके साथ ही what we have seen, there are certain trends जो कि लोग follow कर रहे होते हैं, seeing influencers like you, but somehow they end up not getting enough engagement. या engagement के ऊपर मैं बार-बार इसलिए आ रहा हूँ because these are some of the questions that we have often received on our social media platforms as well. क्योंकि we are a digital strategist company as well कि किस तरह engagement लाते हैं. तो tell us about कि किस तरह एक trend के ऊपर आप फ़ौरन ही उसके ऊपर क्या हॉप ऑन कर जाएं या वेट करें, सी व्हाट्स गोइंग ऑन, किस तरह एक ट्रेंड को सही तरह आप यूटिलाइज कर सकते हैं?
I think a lot of people will, I'll talk about two different things. There's people that can hop on those trends and it does phenomenal for them, right? There's a lot of people that like, oh, you know, a video came out where they're doing this dance, now everybody's doing this dance. And it will work out because there's a trending music or attached to it, or there's, you know, a trending person attached to it, so it just kind of works out for people. Now there's a lot of people like myself, right? We're not made for trends. So we have like this persona that is not like a trendy persona, right? I would like to say that we have like this timeless personality where everything has to be like relatable, right? If I hop on a trend tomorrow, it does not make sense because I don't do trends.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people will start doing that, right? Oh, it's the need of becoming viral has consumed people, that everybody is now hopping on trends and it doesn't necessarily work for them or their brand. So then people get confused and then they don't get the engagement because it just didn't fit their brand and their personality to begin with.
अच्छा, ये जो सारी सोशल मीडिया एप्स हैं अभी जो मार्केट में अवेलेबल हैं, लेट्स टॉक अ लिटिल अबाउट थ्रेड्स एज वेल. थ्रेड्स आया एंड इट लॉस्ट मेनी ऑफ इट्स फॉलोअर्स एज वेल विद इन नो टाइम. यू माइट हैव मेड योर अकाउंट ऑन थ्रेड्स टू, सो आर यू कॉन्स्टेंट पोस्टिंग ऑन दैट या यू आर स्टिल वेटिंग कि ये अब जब दोबारा बूम आएगा इसके अंदर, सो आई एम गोइंग टू स्टार्ट पोस्टिंग ऑन दैट? क्योंकि इतने सारे प्लेटफॉर्म्स हैं, इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू मेंटेन content and posting on all these applications as well.
I think when Threads came out, people were like, oh, new TikTok aa gaya. You know, not TikTok, Twitter.
I guess उन्होंने भी यही सोच के बनाया है.
हाँ, उन्होंने Twitter, yeah, of course. Meta is always competing with something.
Yeah.
But no, people were like, oh, new Twitter आया तो जाहिर है कि लोग तो इस पे मर ही जाएंगे, right? Like, so they created their accounts. And then after the first 2 weeks of that craze, it died down so fast, right? Because it was another platform they had to keep up with. So you can have like 8 different accounts, but you're always going to have that one primary account that does better for you. It can be YouTube, it could be TikTok, it could be Threads. There is a new one, Lemonade, which is like LEMON8.
Yeah, I heard about that, yeah.
And I'm like, there's just so many things now, you can't keep up.
But you think कि आपकी जो presence है वो सारे applications पे होनी चाहिए, you still think कि let those platforms grow and उसके बाद आप आए उन platforms के?
I think if you want to, you should definitely explore, right?
Okay.
I think you should get on it to get a feel of what's happening on it. And by doing that, you kind of give yourself like this idea of like, does this work for my content, the type of content I'm creating? So now if I like posted all my cooking videos on Threads or Twitter, it doesn't necessarily make sense. So I think for people, get on those apps, get a feel of it to see, does this work for my brand? Does it work for me?
अच्छा मरियम, डू यू थिंक कि आगे जो अभी ट्रेंड चल रहे हैं इसमें काफ़ी हमने देखा कंटेंट क्रिएटर्स आ रहे हैं एंड ऑफ कोर्स एक जब वो ट्रेंड्स देख रहे होते हैं कि कंटेंट क्रिएटर्स आर अर्निंग गुड एज वेल एंड दे आर बीइंग अप्रोच्ड बाय डिफरेंट ब्रांड्स, तो वो भी कंटेंट क्रिएटर बन जाते हैं. तो इस तरह कोई सर्टिफिकेशन या एक लाइसेंस होना चाहिए कंटेंट क्रिएटर्स के लिए भी, जिनको या तो मेटा या इस तरह के जो प्लेटफॉर्म्स हैं वो इशू करें कि ओके दे आर ऑथेंटिक कंटेंट क्रिएटर्स लाइक इन अमेजॉन इन्फ्लुएंसर्स, कि अमेजॉन ने जो है ऑथेंटिक किया था कि दीज आर आवर इन्फ्लुएंसर्स. उसको किस तरह देखती हो?
You know, for me, I feel like you shouldn't give those like, there was a time where people wanted that badge of honor, which was the verification badge, and then the Meta
I was coming on that as well.
Then Meta rolled down the subscription, and then everybody got a blue check. And you know, it's great and all. It's kind of nice that people can feel like they're validated for their work, because it was also really hard to get that verification. Right? You're posting this, you're the authentic personality, and then you had like 10 fake accounts, and Meta was like, no, I don't think you need a verification badge. But now that you have that, fine, cool, everybody has it, great. But the way I check authenticness of an account is it a real person? You know, are they posting content that features them in it? And how often are they posting? Are they posting things that are like, you know, are easy to like figure out? Are they relatable? And that's how I figure out like, okay, this is a person that I want to follow.
अच्छा.
But now if you have like a bot scam account, you can easily tell that this person is just
नहीं, आई हैव सीन मैनी, बल्कि तुमको भी काफ़ी मैसेज आते होंगे कि एक सर्टेन वेरिफिकेशन के टिक के बाद वो एक सर्टेन बॉट नंबर्स जो है वो यूज़ कर लेते हैं, उसके बाद वो मिलियन फॉलोअर ले लेते हैं एंड उसके बाद जो है वो आपको इनबॉक्स कर रहे होते हैं, ओके तो हम आए आपको ज़रा हम मशहूर करते हैं ज़रा इस तरह की चीज़ें.
I think those are just pure scams. In my opinion, if you're doing,
and I've always instructed my friends as well and people on my stories can never click those links as well, क्योंकि कभी कभार आप बहुत ज़्यादा fascinate हो जाते हैं. Okay, million likes हैं, no matter how the account was made, कब बना, क्या हुआ, बस वो एक following देख के वो फॉलो कर लेते हैं, उसके बाद अपने जो रियल आईडीज़ होते हैं उससे भी हाथ धो बैठते हैं.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. कि आप एक दफ़ा उनको पैसे दे देंगे, वो आपको million followers दे देंगे, right? Eventually they're not going to care about your account because they got the money that they got, right?
Yeah.
They're going to push your account for a certain amount of time, and then after that you have to pay them more money.
Yeah.
So you're the one who's losing. It's a lose-lose situation.
And then you are automatically going to drop those followers as well.
Yeah.
And वो आपके जो अगर कोई वाकई फैंस होंगे वो नोटिस भी कर रहे होंगे कि कल आपके 3.5 लाख थे, आज 3 लाख हो गए, कल 2.5 लाख हो गए.
Exactly. So I mean,
you
like,
have to constantly keep up with that.
Yeah, I think it's not worth it.
अच्छा, earning from social media. This is considered to be one of the most talked topic these days.
Yeah.
And we have seen there are many people have launched their own courses जिसमें वो बता रहे होते हैं कि पैसे कैसे बनाते हैं. There are certain scams as well going on जिसमें वो अपने एक छोटे से कोर्स को बेचने के लिए अपने एक lavish lifestyle दिखाते हैं and उसके बाद वो एक courses sell कर रहे होते हैं, चाहे वो Amazon हो, e-commerce हो या इस तरह के हो. How do you see this पहले तो? And because people are so naive, they just follow. इसके पास ये गाड़ी है,
yeah,
और उसके पास ये चीज़ें हैं, तो वो कुछ भी कर सकता है.
Yeah. You know, to that I will say that if a course tells you make $2,000 by the end of this week, it's probably not worth it.
Okay.
Because they know we live in a world of capitalism and there's too many consumers, right? Like people just want to make money fast.
ठीक है.
And because people have the desire and need to constantly live this life that may not be attainable or doesn't seem like relatable, they keep on like paying and buying these stupid guides, right? And it doesn't do anything for them. You lost like $50 or $60 or $150 just buying this thing who's supposed to tell you how to make $2,000.
Yeah.
It's a scam. If you really want to make money, if you really want to do something, then do something productive. Get a certification, certification by a reputable, a good like place, right? Get that certification, and then make something out of yourself. This constant need of like just creating this stupid money fast is just wild.
But इससे एक चीज़ हो रही है कि जो ये कोर्स सेल करने वाले हैं वो तो पैसे बना रहे हैं.
Oh yeah.
Because they are not showing actually कि वो बता ये रहे होते हैं कि पैसे बनेंगे कैसे, and वो definitely they are taking money out from your pocket,
yes,
and they are earning from that.
Exactly.
And yeah, continue.
But that's what I'm saying. Like people will just do anything and everything to make money, and people are giving them the money.
Acha, Maryam, according to you, the followers who are watching you right now, tell us 3 to 4 ways how to earn money on social media if you are a new content creator, या if you are not a content creator, या आप सोच रहे हैं कि आपको बनना है. So what are 3 to 4 ways?
So there's like, I will list out like 3 major ways. There was a time where like Instagram had Reels and you were getting bonuses for posting Reels. That was like when they first rolled out Reels and people were getting bank. We were making so much money.
Like,
right?
Give us an example.
So like they would give you like bonuses, and it was anywhere from like $700 to like $32,000.
For posting how many reels?
You would have to pay, like you would, every time you posted like a reel, like as many views that you got, you would get like a what do you call it, creator budget for it, right? So they were like giving $500 or like $600, $300. So imagine content creators are getting 1 million views every single time they post. They were making bank. And then, so after a little while, when Meta started losing their money, they were like, I think we're going to put a stop on this creator thing. And that kind of really changed the way people did
मुझे हमेशा से वो क्रिएटर वाला वो आया कि जी आपको इतने $1,000 मिलेंगे मेटा की तरफ से. मैं उस व्यूज़ पे जब तक पहुंचा तब तक ये चीज़ बंद हो चुकी थी क्योंकि तुम लोग सारे पैसे समेट चुके थे, तुम लोग जैसे इन्फ्लुएंसर जो थे. तो उसके बाद जब हमारा टाइम आया तो हमें जी उसी पे रिलाई करना है सब्सक्रिप्शन बैच के ऊपर.
It was really like unrealistic to keep up with as a small creator, right?
I guess that was initially done in order to engage audience and I guess उस प्लेटफॉर्म पे लोगों को लाने के लिए था जो मैंने किया क्योंकि इस तरह का मॉडल लॉन्ग लास्टिंग वैसे भी नहीं हो सकता था.
नहीं हो सकता था. They didn't have the budget for it. They thought that they could do what TikTok was doing with their creator budget, and they tried implementing it to Instagram. But then they realized all the TikTok people were also posting on Instagram. So now you have people who are doing like really well on TikTok. We're also doing really well on Reels, and so they probably ran out of money really fast. But now what they did was like after a little while they didn't give us any money, so you could not make any money on Instagram. So we started with no making money on Instagram to now making money and then not making money again. But now they rolled out another thing where you can allow Instagram to put ads in your feed. So if you were to click something on my Instagram, you pick a reel or whatever it is and you're scrolling and then you randomly just see like a piece of content that is not mine, they're paying you money for it.
Okay.
Because now your feed has an ad
just what happens in websites as well when you are scrolling those websites to beach
exactly.
pop-up ads are
so now it's become that and you get like a very small portion for it, so like 3 cents 13 cents for people that post a lot of content who are like doing more ads. I guess it works out and somehow like end up making more money. I don't know, but yeah, we went from like having great benefits from Instagram to having none.
Okay, Maryam, so talking about your earning from that one particular reel, जिसमें you consider that this was one of the phenomenal reel that I have created and Insta paid me this much amount for that reel.
You know what, I don't know if like
And what was the content in that reel?
So I think it was like a bunch of, so you got paid monthly, right? Meta would pay you monthly for like posting reels. And I think I had posted like three reels that month, or maybe like, I don't remember exact numbers. But that month I had made like $2,500 just from like
for 3 reels.
Yeah, for 3 reels or 2 reels. And I was just like, wait, hold on. Are you telling me that I just made money from like just posting my content?
Yeah.
And then because that was such an attractive thing to see, now people became like the reel machine, right? Like we're posting more reels and more reels and more reels. So I think for me it was just like really, and after a little while I stopped caring because I didn't want to be like a content creation machine, and I was just like, it's great to like make extra money.
I thought कि when you saw that paycheck, उसके बाद तुमने सोचा मैं जॉब ही छोड़ देती हूँ, ये ज़्यादा अच्छी चीज़ है.
I love doing what I do, so so I was like, नहीं,
अगर वो content creation वाली चीज़ दोबारा आ जाएगी, I guess you are still going to continue the broth thing or chef thing, or you are going to be like
100%. My goal always has been that it's great to be on social media, but I've come to this place in my life where I don't want content creation to be the only thing that generates revenue. And I think we're also in the place where a lot of content creators are now building businesses out of social media, right? To have some sort of security, because one day TikTok can go away, Instagram can go away.
अच्छा, we tell our followers as well कि आप इसके ऊपर completely rely नहीं करें कि कल को अगर ये applications आ जाती हैं, कोई cyber attack हो जाता है पूरी दुनिया में या cyber pandemic आ जाता है, तो आप तो मैं खाली suicide कर लेंगे क्योंकि your all life was revolving around that applications.
Exactly. So I think for me, I think a lot of, so again, I talked about like the 10-year shift. So we had a 10-year shift before when I started, right? There was like content creators that had started a decade before me, and they were building their businesses outside. They were coming out with their makeup brands, their skincare brands, like whatever it was, like it has taken off.
Skincare को तो रोल दिया है अभी influencers ने.
Everything, yeah.
मैंने कहा बैन कर देना चाहिए, कोई एक कमेटी बननी चाहिए कि ठीक है आपके फॉलोअर हैं 1 लाख फॉलोअर, ये मेरा लोशन है, ये मेरा शैम्पू है और ये मेरा लिप ग्लॉस है.
उसके बारे में तो बात ही ना करो क्योंकि वो दूसरा पॉडकास्ट का एपिसोड हो जाएगा, because we can talk about like that on a different podcast. But now there's a shift, right? People, my peers, are now building their ventures outside of social media. So now you have like food brands, you have cookbooks, you have cafes, restaurants. People are doing like private events. Like there's just, people are now building outside of social media because you literally cannot rely on social media. And I think people see that once you've made it on social media, you must be getting paid phenomenal, right? One thing I want to say is number of followers does not mean that much money.
Yeah.
So if somebody has 1 million followers,
Doesn't
does
matter.
not mean they have $1 million.
Yeah. Let's put it this way, how many followers someone need in order to launch a perfume? कितने followers उसके पास होने चाहिए एक perfume brand launch करने से पहले या एक makeup brand launch करने से
I
पहले?
think it really depends on how you do it.
Okay.
I think if you have, let's say you have 5,000 followers and those 5,000 people are dedicated to you and it's a very loyal cult following, you can launch a product tomorrow.
Okay.
Now, if you have 5,000 followers and only 10 people
Yeah.
are your loyal followers, then maybe it's not the best time for you to launch that product, right? So again, it just really depends on how you keep your followers engaged. How, like, are you talking to them enough? Are they loyal? Are they following you from one platform to the other? And that's a great way to figuring out how loyal your following is.
अच्छा, coming back to the topic again, three ways to earn on social media. पहला तो आपने बताया subscription का चलो कर लेते हैं कि you can offer subscription to your followers.
Then there's affiliate programs.
Okay.
A lot of brands will do affiliate programs now. So if you drive traffic to a product that they have, you get a certain amount of money, like a certain amount of percentage, right?
Okay.
So now even brands, big brands have shifted to that model. So before they used to give you like a flat check for a partnership, but now it's like, we'll give you like X amount for creating content, but the rest of the money is going to be how much traffic you bring into us.
सही है.
So now it's like you get 20%, 15%, or 30% of whatever you bring into them. So there's that. Then there's also like creating ventures outside. So a lot of people have like cookbooks, or they have a lot of t-shirts or merch, right? That is a way of like making money. They'll like use their Instagram to drive traffic to their websites, and that's how they're making money. So there's like product, affiliate program, and then creator fund or subscriptions on Instagram is like 3 big ways that people are making money.
ठीक है. And how to identify which platform suits someone's personality best?
I think that's really up to the talent to decide. If you're doing a podcast, if you're doing long, lengthy cooking videos, you're more likely to have a better outcome on YouTube versus Instagram and TikTok, right? Instagram and TikTok is like fast consumption of content. So a lot of people are on there to just scroll. They're not there to watch like 13-minute video. But if you want to put out like a 10-minute video or 5-minute video, your best bet is YouTube, because a lot of people that want to see that kind of content are going to go to YouTube. So test your videos out on different platforms and see what's happening where, and then stick to that. Give it at least 3 months before you can decide, hey, maybe this is not the right fit for me.
Achha, Maryam, we are coming towards the end of our conversation, and I really want you to address this, because you have a lot of female following, and in fact teenage following, and that's such a vulnerable age के उस टाइम पे जो है आपको कोई भी कुछ बता रहा होता है तो आपको गुस्सा भी आ रहा होता है. Same happen with guys as well. The testosterone level is so high कि कुछ सुनने को ready नहीं होता. But still we have seen कि they go under certain surgeries as well. Under needle they are doing their lip jobs, they are doing their cheek job और पता नहीं क्या क्या चीज़ें. How do you see this, and followers को कभी इसके ऊपर guide करने की कोशिश की या instruct किया?
You know, it's a topic that I don't really touch very much. Mainly because I feel like people may not receive what I'm going to say.
अच्छा.
Nicely.
बोल दो तुम, कोई मसला नहीं.
अगर हमें hate मिलेगी ना इस episode पे,
नहीं, not at all, not at all.
Look, when you're raising your kids, there's a point in your life where you're going to come to, and you're going to be eventually raising little kids of your own. What kind of example do you want to create for your kids, right? I kid you not, I went from wanting to be like following those like eyebrows इस तरह होनी चाहिए, hair color ऐसे होना चाहिए, makeup ये करना चाहिए, like 50 products लगाने चाहिए, skin care ऐसे करनी चाहिए, and I kid you not, that changed for me. When Elise started looking up to me, I was like, Mama, why are you putting eyeliner on your eyes? Why do you need that? Like, what am I telling her? I can't tell her like ऐसे ही लगा रही है Mama. You know, I honestly didn't have like answers for her, and I was like, yeah, why am I putting it on? And I stopped wearing eyeliner. Because if I can't have answers for why I am doing certain things, it's probably not needed. Now, in terms of like needle and getting lip jobs or nose jobs, getting implants and all of that, I know the world goes through like their insecurities, right? Everybody has some sort of insecurities. But we also are in the world of embracing ourselves. You know, I personally like to believe that if we're going to embrace yourself, you have to embrace yourself with the flaws that come with you.
True.
Right? Now, if somebody's going through like a lip thing because they got into a car accident and they're like, I really hate this scar on my face. I want this off. I'm going to do blah, blah, blah. By all means, that's your call to make. It's your body. It's your face. You do what you need to do to feel better and secure in your own body. Great. If you're looking at somebody else, you're like, I want to look like this person. I want to have the nose that she has. I want to have a lip that she has. I personally don't think that is the right reason to go under a knife. Because eventually you're going to keep on going under that knife because you won't be satisfied with how you look. And eventually you're just not going to be you.
Cartoon ban jate hain mein to main to
and
ye
then the
dekha
other
hai.
thing is a lot of people are getting these like surgeries and these treatments done by people that are not necessarily good. So they're coming out botched. And it's completely messed up their bodies, their health. They're even more insecure.
Things they cannot do the rest of their lives as well.
Exactly.
क्योंकि उसके कुछ precautions ऐसे होते हैं whenever you are doing certain things, you cannot eat certain kind of food.
Yeah.
You cannot laugh out loud public के अंदर.
Do you want to live a life like that? Ask yourself. Like, do you want to be that person? Do you want to keep on paying to go under like the knife all the time? Because in my opinion, I'm like, if you're just really going to be screaming inclusivity and embracing yourself, then maybe you should embrace yourself. I said it.
There was a friend of mine, उसने बड़ा ज़बरदस्त बोला था, कह रहे हैं civilizations जो होती हैं, a very good comedian from Pakistan as well, he do amazing shows. तो वो कहता था कि civilizations आती हैं 1000 साल पुरानी, उनके remains हम देख रहे होते हैं कि ये remain थे, अच्छा इस तरह के थे, वो इस तरह रहते होंगे. कह रहे हैं जब हमारे remains मिलेंगे 1000 साल बाद तो लोग वो प्लास्टिक और ये चीज़ें दिखाई देंगी, जब वो जो है ना फॉसिल जब ढूंढ रहे होंगे तो बोलेंगे पहले के लोग कैसे होते थे, ये क्या थे इनके पास, ये प्लास्टिक की चीज़ें और ये वो थे जब उन्होंने implants कराए हुए थे.
I think we're ruining our health fast. We're doing so many things. We're just consuming so many things we shouldn't be consuming. We've made our lives harder. You don't need to have 50-step like skincare routine, and you don't need to get like your brows laminated and your eyelash extensions. Otherwise, you won't be able to see. So I know I'm going to get so much hate for saying that because like, it's my body, I can do whatever I want. You can, absolutely. I'm not saying that you can't. But if you can't answer to yourself why you're doing those things, then maybe it's not the right call.
Very, very incredible. Acha, Maryam, towards the end, a quick tip and a quick guide from you for 2024 to 2025 content creators को क्या करना चाहिए अभी for this particular time period, ये short span है 1 साल का.
I will say that you need to stay consistent. Don't get disheartened because engagement isn't there. I think we're all going through like my engagement isn't there, so I'm not going to create. Create because you love to create and keep at it. One day it will stick and you don't know when that day is going to be. So keep at it. The other thing is don't burn yourself out. Keeping up with trends, trying to be somebody that you're not, is not going to make you the most authentic, transparent brand. So when you are you, the same way you're offline, I kid you not, life is easier. Your content is relatable, so do that. Just be yourself. And then I will say, start thinking about why do you want to be on social media? Do you want to create content because you want to make money? Do you want to quit your job and you just want to make money? Because I will tell you transparently, being a social content creator does not mean you're going to make money.
Absolutely.
There's a lot more things that go into making that money. You have to be like this powerhouse to even capitalize on the deals that you get. So don't quit your job because you think you're going to create content one day and you're going to make money tomorrow.
Very true.
So
thank you so much, Maryam, for being part of this show. Very meaningful conversations, and मुझे लग रहा है इसका second part भी हमें बहुत जल्द लाना पड़ेगा, जिसके अंदर हम ज़रा detailed discussion करें about how content creators are creating content तो कर ही रहे, लेकिन creating products भी शुरू जो कर दिए उन्होंने. That's a huge market as well. So we are going to see you in another episode of Sapiens Experience. Till then, take care.